I think we should start. Who is there? Advait, Amok, Harsh, Madhav, Pranav, Kenan, Rutika, Sanskriti, Upkar, and Valenka. Let us start now. We have completed Clapper block, and some are submitting that block assignment also. So our next will be, let me share the screen. I am not going to take CAMD because we have to start with the manufacturing process, that is model 3. We already done threading and had started gear hopping. Car was there, but what I want to tell you that if you want to start ahead CAMD में, then you can start with the second assignment, that is tool post. Car, I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You are absent, I think, no, for 1 or 2 lectures.
Yes, sir.
So some of you have issue with the laptop, so that will resolve. Not worry, but try to understand how to do modeling, how to do assembly. Hmm. And next assignment is going to be tool post. Huh? You can try once you have completed Clapper block. You can go ahead with the tool post. This is easy. Uh, the tool post, I'll just take 5 minutes for explaining the tool post. Tool post, it looks like this. And the purpose of the tool post, or the use of the tool post, is to hold the tool. And this tool post is mounted on lathe machine. So the tool, single point tool, is hold here on this part. This part is called as a wedge. So the tool is mounted on this wedge, and tool is clamped with the help of, you can see in this view. This is a tool bit. This is for the tool post. This is a screw which is used for clamping. Now this particular wedge is also called as the wood rod key, if you remember are taken in the machine elements. This is also called as the Woodruff key. This is used for adjusting the center height, this point. This point has to be adjusted with the workpiece center line. See, workpiece is round like this. Look at this cursor. Workpiece is round. So the workpiece center line should match with this cutting point. It should not be up or it should not be down. In case if it is up and down, up or down, then that center height can be adjusted with the help of this wedge. You have to push it like from this side or from this side so that this will move up and down. So that is the purpose of this drop key, and that's why this semicircular shape is given. You have a block here. So how many components are there? You have block here. This block goes to the table, machine table. That is, in case of lathe machine, this block is mounted on the cross slide. That is, this is your cross slide. So on the cross slide, this block is mounted. On this block, you have this tool post or pillar. Then you have a ring, and on the ring you have shape. That's it. There is an arc, or there is a semicircular, or there is a concavity. On this concavity, this wedge sits, right? And on the wedge you have tool, and then on the tool you have screw. So like that. So how many components you have? You have block, you have post. That is two. This is your block. This is your post. Then this is a ring, and you have wedge, and then followed by the screw. You don't follow this drawing. Don't follow this drawing. I will suggest you go ahead with this drawing. This. So there are five components and plus one assembly. One is component number one, that is pillar, or it is also called as the post, then block, then ring, wedge, and screw. So assembly you can start either with the pillar or with the block, that you can make it as a fixed component or the base component. So if you are making block as the base component, the first component will be block, new component. In that you add pillar. Then once pillar is done, then you can add ring. Then once ring is done, then you can add wedge and then screw. So you can follow this also. That is pillar first, then block, then ring and wedge and screw. Now I'll give you some hints, so that you can do it. Modeling you can do easily. Now this pillar, you can use revolve revolve command. Revolve command is also a very popular command, and it saves your time a lot. So in the revolve, what you have to do, you have to take this half section. That is, you draw this. You have this center line. So from that, you mark this line. That is half of 32. So that's 16. Then mark this taper line. Okay, so that is 36. So 36 ka half, that is 18. Okay, once the sketch is done, then you can do this filleting. Okay, so first you draw this line, then you can join this taper line with the help of this 36. Then this diameter, how much is this diameter? That is 50. So you can draw this line at 25. Then the height has been given. Then filleting. Then this diameter is also 62. So you can very comfortably draw this half section. So when this half section is done, then you can revolve this. Revolve this. So you will get this, except the hole. The hole also you can draw here. Now this is M22, so you consider pitch as 2, M22 by 2. So here you will have to draw the minor, minor hole, that is 20. So you can draw one line here at 10. So you, when you revolve it, you will get complete this solid and with this hole inside. Then you click at this hole to get the threading. You have to go to the menu, add
Hello.
design features. Yes, yeah,
Yes, sir. Sahil is waiting in the lobby. So if you can just
okay,
add him.
yeah. I'll just admit him. joint. Hmm. So once you revolve this, then you will get this solid along with the hole. Then you can do the threading. Now you go to this plane, this plane, that is you select either XZ plane or you select YZ plane. Remember, XZ plane or YZ plane starts from the center. So whatever sketch you are making, that will come on the center line. So on that plane, you can draw this rectangular slot of size 22 by 66, keeping this much distance. How much is this distance? That is 30 minus 10. And once you are done this slot, then you can extrude this. Now, when you are extruding, you have to remember that you are extruding from the center line, right? You are extruding from the center line. So from the center line, either you can extrude plus 25 and minus 25, or you can use a command which is for the symmetry. So you can, in extrude menu, you can go to the value. There you can select symmetric and then just say 25. So it will extrude both the sides. So this is done. Then screw, you know very well. Screw. Try to do chamfering. Hmm. Chamfering is bit difficult, so I will teach you how to do chamfering. But you can try, you can explore. But most probably you won't be able to do this chamfering. So I'll teach you how to do the chamfering. Otherwise, you can complete your model without chamfering. Without chamfering this square. Okay, so this is pretty simple. Again, you can use revolve command. So you can draw this half section. So except this square, you can complete, and then this square, you can extrude it. Square you can extrude it. So if you don't use revolve, then you will have to do by extrude command. If you don't use revolve, then you will have to use extrude command. In extrude command, how you will do? You will draw the circle for this, that is 62 for circle. Then you will draw circle for this, that is 50. Then 36. Then 32, and then you go on extruding. This is a uh, taper, which you will do by chamfering method. You will do by chamfering method. And once you have extruded all this, that is from 0 to 10, then from 10 to 110, then 110 to 150, then you do this slot by selecting exit plane. Similarly, this also you can do it by revolve, that is right from here to here. Okay, and then unite this square. Unite this square. That is, you draw this square on this top sketch, then extrude that square and unite it. So these two components are done. Once you are done with these two components, then this has to be done by extrude. That is easy. Extrude, that is, you just draw this block. In that you draw these two circles and extrude it. Right? So how will extrude? From 0 to 14, and this is from 0 to 10, and this is from 10 to 14. Simple. Then these two. Now these are little tricky. This, because the center is not given. So this is an arc. Okay, this is an arc. So you draw a line. Okay, you draw this center line also. Now you locate this center of this arc. From this point, it is at a distance of 134. If you use Pythagoras method, you can very well calculate this. Here you have to do some calculation. Actually, in drafting, you are not supposed to do calculation, but if you want to make it faster, you can calculate it. Because how you can calculate? Because you know the hypotenuse is 143 and this distance is 50. So you can get this distance. So that will come 134. So once you have this line, you can locate the center at a distance of 134, and then you can draw an arc of, or diameter, a circle of diameter 143 into 2. Hmm? That is 286. So once you get, then you can draw this line, then, or you can draw this. Okay, you can draw this line, that is diameter 51 correspond to this. Then you can trim it, uh, and you can very well extrude it for 12 mm, isn't it, Madhvendra?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So once you draw this, how you will proceed here?
Where, sir?
this component number 3. Component number 3, you are drawing this view, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So what you will do, first you will draw this line, okay, then
Mm.
you will draw this arc, isn't it? 143 ka,
Yes.
you can locate the center on the center line which is at a distance of
Yes. Yes.
134. All right. Then
Yes.
what I mean that you can complete this view, and once you are done with this view, then what?
Yes. We can revolve and subtract it, no?
Yes, yeah. Then you can revolve and subtract it. If
Subtract
you
it.
want to do by extrude, if you want to do it by extrude method, then how you will do this by extrude method?
I
Can
think
you
so,
just
sir.
tell?
We cannot do it by extrude method because the arc is curved, no, right? It is not a hole. It is one arc of
Yes,
143. तो वो ऐसा थोड़ा सा
correct,
डिप्रेशन
correct.
रहेगा 143 डिग्री पे. तो we
Yes,
cannot
yes. So
use
this,
arc, I think.
so
And
you cannot use extrude method, correct? No.
extrude. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So here you will have to do by wall only. So that is, I have given you either locate the center from here at 134, or you can calculate that degree comes 42 degree included. So one side it will be 21 degree. So this arc is not a problem, and then you can revolve it. So
I
this you
think,
can
sir,
do
we
by
have to do
component.
some calculation also over here.
Sorry, calculations.
We have to do some calculations वहाँ पे.
Yeah, that's what I told. No calculation that you can make a right angle triangle. Okay,
Yes, yes.
and then this distance is 50, and you have hypotenuse 143. Correct. So
No, no.
143
हाँ
square.
हाँ
Yeah,
143. Yeah, right.
143 is 50 square. So you will get this, and this comes at 134. 134. So the center of this
Yes.
arc is at a distance of 134 from this line, and you can get the corresponding angle also. This angle, that angle comes to be 21 degrees. So you can very well draw this arc, okay? And then you can draw these lines and you can trim it. Correct. And once you get this section, then you can revolve it.
Yes, sir.
All right, no? And then last component, that is wedge. So again, wedge is also
Sir,
simple. Again, you sorry,
Adnan wants to join in.
wedge. Yeah, I'll just complete with this. Wedge.
Yeah,
So wedge is also simple. So you draw this arc, then you draw these two lines. All right, or this. hmm, Ignore this dotted line. So once you complete this, then you can extrude it by 18 mm. So component number 4 and component number 2 you can do by extrude. This you have to do by revolve. In component number 1 you have to do by revolve and by extrude. And this component again by revolve or by revolve and extrude. So here revolve component number 1, again I repeat, component number 1 revolve and extrude. Component number 5 revolve and extrude for this square. Component number 2 extrude. Component number 4 extrude, and component number 3 by revolve. All right. Now who wants to join? So once you have completed, once you are done with the clapper block, hmm, then you can proceed with this tool. One more student, I don't know, she is not there. Dimple. She has submitted, this assignment, clapper block assignment. She has submitted. Mm, I have seen all the components. She is not here. Dimple, you are not present. Huh? But Sahil, hello, can you hear me,
Yes, sir.
Sahil?
Yes,
Are you there?
yes, yes, sir. I'm there. Hello, sir.
So you just pass the
Yes,
message.
sir. Sir.
You will pass the message to
Okay.
her that through also, yeah, that I have all the components they are opening, but assembly I am unable to open it. So unless and until I see the assembly, I cannot award the marks to this assignment.
All right, sir. All right.
I have explicitly mentioned it in. So please pass the message. I don't know why she has not joined today. Okay, so after you complete the clapper block, you can proceed with the tool post. Any issues while downloading the software? What about
Hmm?
you? Have you downloaded?
Yes, sir. I have downloaded it. I didn't find any issue, but
And I
let's ask others too.
uh, uh, yeah, download it. No? So now in process, you can start practicing, no? Slowly, slowly.
Okay, sir.
So till the college starts, you have time, no?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Isn't
Yesterday,
it?
I asked in the group that
Yeah.
anyone is having
So,
compatibility issues or not.
yeah. Utkar has contacted me. So those who don't have laptop or any issues, we will resolve it. Huh? Don't
Okay.
worry.
Okay. I'll let you know
But
if
try to
anyone
make.
has any issues or not.
Uh, yeah, yeah,
Okay,
please.
fine, sir.
So I'll
Fine.
close this now. Yeah, I'll close this. So you have enough, material uh, to proceed. Hmm. Let me close this. Now we'll go to the module 3. Module 3 is for thread cutting, that is threading, and then gear hobbing, and then there is gear cutting method and finishing methods. Okay. So some part of threading was left. So let me complete that some part of threading. I don't know whether you have gone through this assignment. I have already uploaded this. You have these links for the thread rolling and for the gear hopping and gear shaping, which you can refer. And I have some notes on the thread rolling, which is sufficient from examination point of view, because thread rolling usually short note is asked for 5 marks. You don't have to draw these photographs. You can draw this sketch. You can draw this sketch. Again, this photograph is not required to draw. This sketch is sufficient to show the thread form. This is what the thread rolling process is. That is, you have these two rolls. You have these two rolls which are called as the thread rolls, and in between you have this component which is to be threaded. Which is to be threaded. So these thread rolls are rotating. These rolls are rotating. In between you have component. This component is also called as the blank, a round blank. Huh? So a blank is actually turned first. This blank is turned the outside diameter on CNC lathe or on automat or on our center lathe. If it is mass production, then you can do it on automat. If it is batch production, CNC lathe. If it is, but generally this thread rolling process is used for mass production. So you have to go for automat. And again I am telling in thread rolling, the blank diameter is not the outside diameter. The blank diameter is nothing but the pitch diameter. Pitch diameter. Last time also I had told. What is the pitch diameter? So this is what is your pitch diameter is. Let us say that suppose if you have this uh, outside diameter is say outside diameter is M16 by 2. 2 mm is the pitch. Then approximately in layman's language we get the minor diameter. The minor diameter comes out to be 16 minus 2. So that comes out to be 14 minor diameter. So the pitch diameter, can you just tell me?
Yes, sir.
If the outside diameter is 16, yeah. Now the
So
pitch is 2 mm.
0.85
Okay.
times.
So
Yeah. Oh, so
so the
16
minor,
minus 2.
no, don't use
16.
that. That is also correct. Minus 2.
Yes,
So
sorry.
that will
16
be
minus.
minor. That will be the minor
Yes,
diameter.
yes.
Minor diameter मतलब नीचे का.
Niche
So
ka, yes,
what
sir.
will be the pitch diameter of major diameter and minor diameter? So how much it will come? Pitch diameter.
Pitch diameter. I don't know, sir.
See, I again
Mhm.
repeat. Outside diameter is say 16.
Yes.
Inside diameter, that is that outside diameter is called the
14.
major diameter.
Mm-hmm.
Inside diameter, that is called the minor
Minor
diameter. So
diameter.
that will be 14.
Yes.
So what will be the pitch diameter? Pitch diameter is nothing but the average of major and minor.
Minor.
Pitch
Oh,
maker.
okay, 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 sir.
How much it will be?
So it will
Pitch
be
diameter
15.
15. Good, very
15.
good. So 15, yeah, good. So here, see, this is called the crest, and this is called the trough. Okay, and in so corresponding to the crest, you called as a major diameter. Corresponding to the trough, you called as a minor diameter, and then average of both. That is what is your pitch diameter. Okay, so if this is 16, this comes, and if this is 14, average diameter will be 15. So in case of thread rolling, suppose if I want to thread roll 16, that is M16 by 2, then the pitch diameter will be 15. Remember, you have to turn the blank to diameter 15. Alright, is it clear? Hello, brother,
Yes, sir, it is.
it's clear, no? So this is in thread terminology, this is called as the lead, and this is what is your thread angle is. So if it is metric thread, then thread angle is 60 degrees, that you know. And lead generally we use for multi-start thread. Multi-start thread means single start, double start, triple start. That is what is the multi-start thread. By default, if the lead is not mentioned, then it is single start thread. Now I'll tell you what do you mean by start. I had told you last time also. In case of single start, the lead is equal to pitch. Let us take this example only, M16. So the lead is equal to pitch. Pitch means what? In one revolution, what is the axial distance traversed? That is what is called as the. So if the pitch is 2 mm, and if I rotate this bolt by one revolution, then the nut which is mounted on the bolt by a distance of 2 mm. If it is single start. Now if it is double start, what happens? If it is double start, then in one revolution, the nut which is mounted on the bolt will move by a distance of 4 mm. That is pitch multiplied by number of start. If it is triple start, if it is triple start, that is M16 by 2, 3 start. Then in one revolution of the bolt, the nut will move by a distance of 6 mm. That is 2 into 3. So the advantage of multi-start is you get faster axial movement. If it is single start, then the nut will move, or the table which is mounted on a nut, the table will move by a distance of 2 mm in one revolution. But if it is 3 start, in one revolution itself, the table will move by a distance of 6 mm. The table movement is fast, and that is the advantage of multi-start. And multi-start threads are for conveying. That is called the screw conveyors. Screw conveyors. In pharmaceutical industries, you can see this screw conveyor, which is handling of the powders, medicine powders, or even liquids also. Why? Because the material handling or the material movement is fast. Only the disadvantage of multi-start thread is manufacturing is bit complicated as against single start. Multi-start threads are little difficult to manufacture, little difficult. Hmm? But multi-start cutting is commonly used. I hope the concept of multi-start threading clear. Hmm? Then here there are some advantages of roll threads. You get a good finish. Hmm? Then fatigue strength improves, and so on. So this was a study material on. If you have any doubt, please ask. So that is sufficient. So in threading, only thread roll is important. We'll go for now gear hopping, gear shaping. Now these are the methods: gear hopping, gear shaping. These are the methods for gear cutting. So let us see one video on gear shaping and hopping. Is this screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. So gear shifting and hobbing. This is the principle of gear cutting. Only Upkar was present in last lecture, but this was not shown because all of you were not present except Upkar. So basically, the principle is it works on the principle of gear generation. Gear generation. That is, the teeth are generated. How the teeth are generated? That is, two gears are mating each other. Two gears are mating each other. One gear is called as the master gear, which is also called as the cutter, and other is the blank. Now, blank you understand. Blank means the teeth are not cut. So one is your master gear that is also acts as a cutter, and that two gears rotates. So remember, out of these two, one is gear, master gear or cutter, and another is blank, on which the teeth are cut by this cutter. Hmm? Now the teeth on the master gear will look like a rack cutter. Rack. This is what is called as the rack. Ejo has straight. This is what is called as the rack. The teeth on the master gear will represent the teeth of the rack. This is what is called as the blank. Your round line, that is what is called the blank. Gear blank. So this you have to turn first on lathe machine. So now one teeth is completed. Now this blank will be rotated. So like thread, here also there is a concept of pitch. Now this is your gear shaping. In gear shaping, now what is this is what is called the gear generating principle. Here also this is your cutter, which is nothing but master gear, and this is what is your gear blank. So the gear cutter as well as blank both are rotating. Then gear cutter moves up and down. That is what is called the reciprocating motion, and at the same time it is fade in also. It because it has to take the complete depth of cut. That is what is called the tooth depth, and tooth depth is nothing but addendum plus dedendum. That is the teeth terminology. You can get that in theory of motions, their tooth terminology. Like a person is expressed by height and weight. There are many other features like color, hairs, all those things. So like that, gear is expressed in terms of module. Module is nothing but is equal to module is represented by symbol m. So m is equal to pitch circle diameter divided by the number of teeth. So once you have module, like once I have roll number of the students, then I can get the entire kundali. Hmm? Iska, once I have roll number, then I will just log in the system. Okay, I will get his name, his mobile number, his residential address, his parents' mobile number, his SSC mark, HSC mark, everything. So like that, once I have module, I can get all the details. I can get PCD, I can get OD, I can get number of fees, I can get angle, I can get addendum, dedendum, everything. So here this is a gear shaping. So gear shaping may your blank is rotating, your cutter is rotating, your cutter reciprocates, and at the same time it is fade inside. And and that is what is called as the radial feed. That is what is called as the radial feed. Remember, hmm? Radial feed. Hmm? And you also have a rotary feed also. This is what is called as a rotary feed. So your cutter is rotating. So that is rotary feed, and this is what is your radial feed. All right. This is rotary feed, and this is radial feed. Hmm? And it is moving up and down. It is moving up and down. That is what is called as the stroke. When it moves from up to down, that is what is called as the cutting stroke. When it moves from down to up, that is what is called as the return stroke. So cutting stroke plus return stroke is called as the double stroke. Double stroke. So normally we, for machining calculation, we consider how many double strokes per minute. How many double strokes per minute? And you know the return stroke you is always faster. That is, takes say 10 seconds, then return stroke will take 5 seconds. And what will be the time for the double 10 plus 5? That is 15 seconds. Let's continue. So cutter is reciprocating up and down. Your blank is rotating. At the same time, your cutter is also rotating. It's not that only one teeth is cutting, all the teeth are cutting. This cutter or master gear is also called as the pinion cutter. This is hobby. This is now hobby. I'll show the gear shaping again. This is the principle of gear cutting. That is, the master gear teeth represent the rack teeth. Master gear teeth represent the rack teeth. The rack reciprocates or the table reciprocates, and rack is moved down to complete the depth of cuts. So once one teeth is completed, the blank is rotated. This is the principle. But this method we cannot use in actual cutting because the machining time will be more. And that's why we have to go for gear shaping machines or gear hobbing machines which are faster, where all the teeth are cut simultaneously. So this is gear shaping. There are specific advantages of gear shaping and gear hobbing machine. When to use gear hobbing and when to use gear shaping. Generally, the gear shaping is used for cluster gears. Cluster for cutting cluster gears. I don't know how many of you know what is cluster gears. Cluster gears you can see in the gearbox of automobile, of car. What happens in cluster gear? There are four gears which are mounted adjacent, and there is very little gap between the two gears. So in that case, gear hobbing fails in the sense the hob will cut because see now this is a hob. This is what is called the cutter, which is called the hob. So in gear hobbing, what happens? The hob, there has to be some approach and there has to be some over travel. So how is the mechanism here? This hob rotates. When it is fed inside, it comes inside. So now if you see the hob will come from up. So this distance is called as the approach. That is from this height to the center of this spindle. That is what is called the approach. And it has to go down or travel by half the center distance. Now cluster gear में what happens? There is another gear here. उसके बाद और एक gear रहता है. Hmm? That is what is called the cluster. So the gap between the two gears is hardly 3 mm. 3 mm. So now what happens if I am going to use gear shaping machine? When it comes down, it is going to cut the next gear. It is going to spoil that blank. So that's why there gear hopping cannot be used. So we have to go for gear shaping. Gear shaping में क्या होता है? The shaping cutter reciprocates up and down, and this stroke can be controlled just within 1 mm. There is a gap of 3 mm from this gear to the next gear. So this stroke can be controlled within 1 mm. So like from here, the shaping cutter can be stopped at a distance of 1 mm. So it is not going to cut, huh? Or it is not going to um, interfere the next gear. So there you have no choice but to go only for gear shaping machine. Now you can see this color. Why this color is yellow? This is nothing but coating. Basic material is high speed steel of the gear hobbing. Basic material is high speed steel, and that is coated with titanium nitride or titanium carbide just to improve the life. Just to improve the life. So if you are coating, then the life of the cutter increases, as well as your production also increases, because you can go for higher cutting velocities, higher cutting speeds, and you can go for higher feed rates. Hmm. So you have a hop which is cut out of a high speed steel, and then that hop is sent for coating. Coating plants are different. Balsara, Balsara, popular, that is located in Pune. Hmm. So they are famous for coating. This coating of titanium carbide or titanium nitride is done by the process what is the PVD or CVD, that is physical vapor deposition or chemical vapor deposition. Now how is the gear hobbing process? The hob rotates, the gear blank. This is what is gear blank, which is mounted on a shaft. This shaft now we will not call it as a shaft, we will call it as a mandrail. We will call it as a mandrail. So this blank is mounted on a mandrail. Hmm. So this blank rotates, this gear hub also rotates, it's rotating. Alright, now this hub, it comes inside, that is what is called the radial feed, and then it moves from top to bottom, and like that the teeth are cut. Now here you can cut this in one pass, that is suppose if the depth is 5 mm, since this is multi-tooth, you know, or multi-point cutter, you can go 5 mm one shot. You can go 5 mm one shot, that is one way. Or you can take series of depth of cut like 1 mm. The hob is fed 1 mm, so it rotates completely. Okay, so hob moves like this from top to bottom, then it retracts here, then again comes up to its home position, then again goes inside. That is second depth of cut. So that is 2 mm. Again it cuts. Okay, again it retracts. Again it comes up. Then again it goes inside. That is 3 mm. So like that. So that is one method. Hmm. Another method is just at one go itself you take 5 mm depth of cut, and in one cut the gear is finished. Generally we adopt the second method, that is you take full depth of cut, because the purpose of gear hopping is for mass production. So your gear cutting should be fast. Let's see this video. This is a gear blank which is mounted on a mandrel. This is for the on the cutter. Remember the module has to be same. Module has to be same. That is module of the cutter and the module of the blank should be same. The retraction is not so clear, but when it goes down, it retracts and comes up, and then it goes for the next cut. This for the successive cuts. So the gear is finished in successive cuts, and this is how you get the gear. This is how your gear will look like. That was a video from this link also I have given in the note. another, because once you know see this picture, this is just to make you understand how the gear looks like, because this is just your second year of engineering. Many of you may not know what is gear, how does it looks, what is per gear, the complete process, how the gear is made. I'll just go back. These are called as the, you see, this is a helical gear. The tips are at an angle. This is your helical gear. Hmm? Gears, you know very well that they are used for transmitting the power. Now, I was always talking about blank, blank, blank. So, raw material is round bar. This round bar is forged or it is cast. And now this round bar is cut on a to the desired thickness. To the desired thickness. This is the blade. This is the blade. If anybody wants to set up gear cutting plant, he should have this machine, that is power hacksaw. Generally, we don't go for power hacksaw, we go for the band saw, because in band saw the production is fast and the life of the blade is also more. Now, once you have blank, then it is hold uh, on a turning machine and it is turned to the desired diameter. This operation is called the facing operation. This is the CNC lathe. This is turret. Remember, always before drilling, you have to do the face. Now, this operation is called the OD turning. This is OD turning. OD turning. These are called the depth of cuts. You are taking series of cuts. You are taking series of. This is now. See, this particular tool is called as the U drill. U drill. See, remember, when you are doing drilling, you have to always have a center drill first. Then, like suppose if I want to make a drill of say 40, then how do I do that drilling? I will do the center. I will do 10 mm drilling, then 20 mm drilling, and then 40 mm drilling. I cannot drill at one go 40 mm straight away. Straight away. But U drill, the beauty of U drill is directly you can drill in solid. There is no need of doing drill. So using center drill or using pilot drills or multiple drills. So suppose if I want to make a hole of 40, I can directly, use 40 mm ka U drills. 40 mm ka U. But your machine should be strong or your machine should be capable enough to take this much force. Understand, no? You are directly doing 40 ka drill, so your machine, your HP of the motor should be strong enough to take that. That is, it should not stop. The machine should not stop. Understand, no? These are the flutes. These flutes, see, the chips can be removed. This is how it is done, and this is what is your blank is. The gear blank will look like this. This is what is your gear blank, which is done on the CNC machine. You are drilling some holes, which is used for clamping. 4 holes has been drilled. Now this is just a punching, number punching, just for identification purpose. Every blank has to be punched. Every blank will be having ID number, identification number. Generally, we don't now go for this. This is the main accurate gear. Normally, we go for laser marking, which is very fast. Now, what is this process? This process is called as the gear shaping. Remember, in gear shaping, the cutter will reciprocate. It will rotate as well as it will go inside also. That is, it has rotary feed as well as it has axial feed. That is radial feed. Coolant. Now, this is only oil. Here, only the soluble oil is used. Coolant. Hmm. Normally, we use soluble oil plus water. Hmm. So that white light दिखता है ना, so that is oil plus water. Hmm. But if you use only oil, then that has a good effect. You know, the cutting is good if you are using only oil. This is shaping. So another advantage of gear shaping is that it can be used for cutting internal gear. Internal gear, remember, because the shaping cutters are usually small. Gear hobbing cutters are big. So for gear hobbing, it will be difficult to cut the internal teeth for gear hobbing. So generally, the advantage of gear shaping that it is used for cutting cluster gear, and second is it can be very easily used for cutting under. But the disadvantage is that it is little slower than the gear hopping machine. This is the mechanism of the machine, gear shaping machine, your driving mechanism. This is gear hopping process. This is gear hopping process. Once you understand these videos, no, then it will be easy for you to understand the theory part. The principle is both are rotating, cutter is also rotating, and the blank is also rotating. See, you can have in gear hopping, advantage of gear hopping is that you can have three blanks, you know, mounted together. You can clamp two, three blanks together, and you can cut. That means you can cut two or three blanks simultaneously. Now, this is a probe, optical probe or stylus. Uh, this is used for measuring how much is the straightness of this. This is for the lead error. How straight it is. How straight it is. It should be perfectly straight or angle be perfectly 90 degree. Very expensive. Now this is measuring the profile error. See, profile error. This profile is either involute or cycloidal. You must have the in engineering drawing, engineering course. This profile is involute. So it is checking involute profile error. And this is what your gears. Once it is cut, then it is sent for heat treatment. Heat treatment means nothing but hardening. Why we do heat treatment or hardening? So that the life of the gear improves. Hardening is again very beautiful. Heat treatment is again very beautiful, subject. This is now grinding. Operation. So you have now finished gear in front of you. This your spiral cutter or helical also. This is your internal spur gear. This is again a spur gear. This is the spur gear. So teeth are cut at both the ends. This is a spur gear. In helical gear, the teeth are cut at an angle. Now this is clamped. This is the gear which is clamped with this disc, and this disc has internal teeth. So this is going to be mounted on a gear shaft. Nowadays, gears are also made out of nylon, which is a type of a plastics. So this material is actually a Dullrin material, Dullrin, which is a type of plastic. But you can use Dullrin, you can use nylon, depending upon environment where you are going to use it. If it is environment is very acidic, then you can go for Dullrin, because Dullrin has got good acidic resistance. As well as Dullrin has got good wear resistance also. also. This is just the assembly. This is called the planetary gear. Planetary gear. Okay, so the next class we'll continue this. If you have doubt, ask. Otherwise, you can leave it. So thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, most welcome.